Hello and welcome to my Stamina Templar non-CP PvP build. So let's not waste any time, let's just get right into the stats. As you can see, we are a Nord for this build, simply due to the increased ulti generation, resistances, stamina supply, and health bonuses. We'll be running the Tower for a Mundus Stone for this one, and we'll be running the Dubious Cameron Throne for our food. This build is made to spot targets for your team and allow plays that can snowball into your team clearing all of your enemies. This build has high survivability, high regeneration, and a huge burst potential along with extraordinary crowd controlling. To get into the gear, we're going to be using 2-piece Pirate Skeleton for the insane survivability. We're going to be using Bone Pirates on the body pieces. I'll be using 7th Legion for the jewelry and weapons. So for this, you'll probably want all of this in Impenetrable. We're using a mix of stuff right now, just kind of testing things. It's already going okay with a mismatch of stuff. And for the jewelry, you'll probably want maybe all 3 infused, maybe some robust. I don't know. You'll find out what you want to do with that, but probably not blue jewelry like I have right now. For the front bar, we're going to be running a great sword, and then we're going to be running the Berserk enchant on there with sharpened. You can switch it out for Nirnhone or infused if you like. I personally have been finding the best success with sharpened so far. Back bar, defending trait, the enchant doesn't really matter considering we're not doing any damaging abilities on it. Your light attacks will give you some, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. And we're going to be running a shield here with impen as well. Getting into the skills here, we're going to be using Biting Jabs for our main spammable. It's a staple, I don't think I have to explain it too much. It's a snare, it gives an awesome buff, huge damage, pulls Nightblades out of stealth. It's a fantastic skill. We'll be using Carve. Now I should note that in Elsewhere this will be getting changed. So in Elsewhere it's no longer give the minor heroism, but instead it's going to do more bleed damage. So I don't know if it's going to be viable or not in Elsewhere, I'll be honest. I think it still might be good just for that bleed damage, which is getting buffed significantly. But right now we kind of use that for that minor heroism. The bleed is nice right now, but that buff is really major. Power of the Light. Again, another staple of the Templar, nothing really groundbreaking here. It's going to give you that huge burst potential, and if you don't keep it up on enemies, chances are you're going to have a really hard time killing them if they're not squishy. Silverleash. Now, this is pretty much our definer of the build. This is what really makes the build viable and great, and what makes it unique. So we're going to be using Silverleash for this. It's going to act as your stun, your crowd controller, your snare, and damage against those werewolves and vampires. This is going to allow those plays I was mentioning earlier for your team to snowball. So what you'll be doing with this one is you'll be taking an enemy out of the crowd for your entire team to pile on and they can't do anything about it. Another pretty standard ability for two-handed is going to be our Rally. Nothing major here again other than our major brutality buff that's going to be given. It's going to give that burst heal, which is fantastic, and a nice heal over time as well. Another good definer of the build is going to be our Onslaught. This is pretty much one of the biggest components to this build as well, aside from Silverleash. It goes through all the resistances, and if you kill an enemy with it, it gives you all the ultimate back, so you can almost treat it as a spammable if you're smart with it. If not, if you don't want to, like, you know, wait till the enemy's almost dead, it can knock an enemy down really fast if you time it well with your Power of the Light. So that's it for our offensive bar. Let's go ahead and head to the defensive bar. We're going to be using Vigor, pretty standard for Stam. Absorb Magic. The reason why we're running this as opposed to anything other here is because in BGs, most of the time, there's probably magic user who's attacking you. So if you just use this ability, which gives you a lot of health back, it's pretty cheap spammable, and kind of negates all their damage. It's not bad at all. It's a really good way to escape. These two are pretty standard for all Templars. You know, you got your Restoring Focus or your Channel Focus for Magicka, Major Ward, it gives you your sustain, whatnot, and then you have your extended ritual to purify all those fractures, those dots, those defiles, and whatnot. And repentance, of course, gives you back that sustain in BGs. Now for our ultimate here, this is actually kind of a flex slot. You could go with a more defensive ultimate if you wanted to, like Shield Wall or Remembrance. Both are really strong. I've personally just been running Dawnbreaker of Smiting right now, just because I've been kind of running solo, so I don't really care too much about my teammates, if I'll be honest. But yeah, fantastic for clearing out enemies, but again, you can run a defensive ability as here. So the rotation for this build is pretty simple. Lay down your 2 buffs here. Pop this up. Activate your Power of the Light. Bring him in with this. Keep spamming. Like that. So to reiterate, keep down your 2 buffs on this bar a lot. Keep up your rally. And now, so let's say he's a target and a BG. It has a pretty far range, as you can see. It's 22 meters. Goes out to here. Mark him with Power of the Light. Pull him in with that Silverleash. Give yourself that minor heroism. Continue spamming. And that's all you really got to do, to be honest with you. It's a pretty simple build. Now, let's say you have to run away. Swap your back bar. Pop your Vigor. If there's a mage on you, pop your Absorb Magic a lot. It's pretty simple stuff. Here it is again. Mark and Power of the Light. Silverleash. Heroism. Even if the enemy is close range, as you see there, I will still stun them with Silverleash. Simply because it is a stun and a snare. Also, if a Sork is running away from you with Streak, fantastic ability to get them right back where they came from. And they can't really spam it too much because that Streak is going to get really expensive soon. Here's what one of the burst combos looks like with the ultimate. Pretty simple stuff. Not too bad of a rotation. Pretty easy. Mark him up with Power to the Light. Silverleash him in. Mark him with the Bleed. And continue spamming your dot. That's all you got to do.